What's going on, comic book people? It is Wednesday. That means it's comic book day. Let me show you what I got.
I'm in love with a hero. I'm in love with the one who will.
First up is Action Comics number 995. We're getting really close to the number 1000. This is part 3 to the Booster Shot storyline. Superman is kind of messing with time, trying to figure out what happened with Jor-El and whether or not he's telling the truth about him escaping the destruction of Krypton. And Booster's trying to keep Superman from messing the timeline up too much. So far, we haven't discovered anything new. I'm really hoping there is going to be some ramifications of this storyline, especially being that I love Booster Gold. Darth Vader issue number 10. This is taking place after episode 3, and Darth Vader is still somewhat kind of cleaning up after the Emperor and taking out a lot of different Jedi that escaped the destruction of the Jedi Order. And this storyline involved the Jedi librarian Jocasta Nu. It's pretty cool to see her in action, but it's also really sad because we do know her ultimate fate. But still, we are seeing the seeds of dissent with Vader and Palpatine starting to grow. And I'm absolutely loving this title. In fact, I think that this is probably one of the best Star Wars titles out. X-Men Blue issue number 19. This is a continuation of the whole timey-wimey thing with the X-Men, kind of going back and forth with different timelines and alternate timelines. And right now, it's the younger generation of X-Men versus themselves, somehow. It's somewhat interesting and not the worst storyline in the world, but it is dragging on a bit. Flash issue number 38. Flash versus Captain Cold in a cold environment where his speed is negated. To be honest, it is somewhat of a cool fight to see the Flash take on the Rogues without his speed. Even though it has happened many times in the past, and in this issue, you can somewhat predict what's going to happen. Godspeed is also a part of this, and I'm a huge fan of his character, and I'm hoping he's going to be used much more in the future. Titans issue number 19. The Trial of Donna Troy, part 1. It's really not a trial taking place yet. It's more so the Justice League coming in, reprimanding the Titans for their past adventures and some of the mistakes they made, and shutting them down. I am hoping that we're going to get some answers as to the background of Donna Troy in the Rebirth DC universe. There's a lot of questions about her origin and her history, and so far it's really just been put on the back burner. There are many fans of hers out there, including me, so I'm hoping that some of these things are going to be answered. Wonder Woman issue number 38, Swan Song, part 1. This is one of those stories where a fan of a superhero who is saved by a superhero somehow becomes their villain. It is an interesting beginning to this storyline. We also have a little subplot going on with Wonder Woman's brother, Jason. Although I don't really know how they're going to be using his character. Right now, he just seems to be a party animal, and that's it. Justice League of America issue number 22, Deadly Fable, part 1. This story is going all over the place. Apparently, Caitlin Snow, Killer Frost, has been cured. However, there is a price for her cure. There's lots of story elements going on with some of the other events in the DC universe, and this is adding in with all of the events taking place with Caitlin making this wish. The Queen of Fables is the main villain, who I'm not really that familiar with in past stories, but she is pretty much a badass and wipes the floor with all of the Justice League. Detective Comics number 972, Fall of the Batman part 4. Everyone pretty much guessed that Clayface was going to revert back to being a villain again, but still the story is being done in a way where you are sympathetic for him. Seeds of distrust are also being put in with Batwoman, and it still feels as though Tim Drake is going down the dark path of his adult counterpart. I'm hoping that's a huge misdirect and something else is going to end up happening, because it would be really sad to see Tim Drake become a villain later. I personally just think he needs his Young Justice buddies to return back to get him back on the right path, so I do remain confident that things will be much better soon. Finally, the last comic I read this week was Phoenix Resurrection issue number 3. Jean Spirit is still in this Phoenix limbo world with lots of other fallen X-Men. Whether or not these are interpretations of the Phoenix, or whether it's Jean Grey's psyche, or whether or not their spirits are actually there, that hasn't been answered. But we all know the end result for this story is that the real Jean Grey will return. And it looks like in the next issue, the X-Men will get to meet her because it's seemingly like they're going into her realm. I am liking it so far, and like I said in past videos, they're not rushing it. They are keeping it at a steady pace. And I am a fan of this story. That's my comic load for this week. There were many other titles I wanted to get to, but I just didn't have a chance to. But what did you guys read? Leave comments down below and let me know. And with that, I will leave you. Thank you guys for watching me in this video. If you haven't done it yet, check out my Patreon site, check out my social media sites, my websites, and everything else out there. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
One who will always win. He's a prominent figure.
There are many fans of Cyclops out there, but personally, I kind of hope that his character stays dead. He's been such a jerk for such a long period of time. I can't really see him returning back to the X-Men and being all happy and hunky-dory and all that crap. I kind of want him to stay dead for at least a little bit longer.